Just call your company Print Run.
Print Run Games.
And then you print run games.
Yeah.
You're like, we're not just limited. We print them and give them to you. There you go. A top fan asked this question recently. He asked, favorite places to buy games that isn't your store. What are some of your favorite places to buy games?
Well,
I mean, assuming we don't have it at our store. That's the assumption.
So the starting point is you and I, our heydays of trying to collect everything are kind of behind us.
Mm-hmm.
We still have things we'd like to try and acquire.
Mm-hmm.
So typically that's through the store. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have time to really like search out stuff anywhere else because I'm too busy running the store in my spare time.
Yeah.
So that is like the main place we get games. So as for like other places that I like to shop, so for retro stuff, there are like Facebook groups. So if I see something like really high end that I know is not going to come through the store. So in my head, I'm thinking, because like I own half the store, so basically like you get half if I take something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, is this game going to double in value before it shows up at the store? And there's been times where like I've waited on a game thinking it'll come through the store, and then like it literally doubles in value before it shows up. A big example would be Terminator on the Sega CD.
I was thinking that game. Yeah. You bought that on a group, right?
That and Mega Turrican on the Genesis are two that I just kept waiting to come in. And I'm like, now they're so expensive if they come in, like we would need to keep them there to make the money back. So yeah, online groups for sure. Other sellers basically like in our area. So again, you always want to have that relationship within the community. So like Brandon, who asked the question, I actually got my Lords of Thunder on the Sega CD from him because he got a lot and he's like, I'm not keeping these. And I was like, well, like your prices are fair. So so I will buy off other collectors. Again, don't have a lot of time to do that now. So the store is just more convenient, I would say, because we're already spending our time there. eBay, I typically won't touch. I'll wait for it to show up on a group or for another seller I trust to get the item basically. So that's kind of where I'm getting my retro stuff. I'm thinking you'd probably be similar, or it's basically store or other sellers.
If I like, back in the day when I wanted to either play games or, collect games, I was doing all the Facebook groups, Kijiji, like, all that stuff, right? I actually remember, like, I really wanted to play Mega Man X2 many years ago, like 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah, you're like desperately need.
I did. I'm like, I want to play this game. I don't want to emulate it. And I remember I put out I only did this once ever. I put out an ad on Kijiji. I said I will pay, whatever the price starting rate was. I think it was like $90. I said I'll pay $90 for a copy of this game because I know lots of people in our neighborhood, and I'm sure they did it like they do it in your neighborhood too. They'll put like looking for
old video
games, and I'm like, I wasn't trying to be like that. Like obviously. I was trying to
be like put a bounty out on it.
I was like, I will buy this game off you for the going rate because I just want to play it.
Yeah.
And that's like when I was, I want to play a game, obviously. But like in terms of adding games to my collection, I'm very patient. I will wait if it's a retro item. I don't really buy from Facebook groups.
Yeah. Like for me, I literally have like a list of 10 games at a time maybe that I will buy if they show up there. Otherwise, I'm waiting like you.
I have a list too, but like, even if it comes into the store, like how much did we pay for it?
Yeah.
And then, I have to consider you, and it's also like I have to consider the store, right? Like if a really good game came in, like that Dragon Fighter game, I thought about keeping it for my collection.
Yeah.
And giving you half the value, obviously, but then I decided not to because I'm like, that's
I don't want to have to give Joe a thing. I'm leaving it there.
I don't want to give Joe. I give Joe so much.
Yeah.
So many compliments all the time. So yeah, I didn't. But in terms of new games,
or wait for retro.
Oh, sorry, for more retro.
I was gonna say the other thing is, and I know you do this too because you're kind of checking to see if you can find stuff for the store, but. Whenever I'm on vacation or in another town, I'll go to like the local retro stores. And if it's something that I'm really interested in that's fairly priced, I'll do that. So I know the last time I did that, we went to Florida and we stayed in Daytona Beach for a day. And I remember for 2 days. So we spent a day on the beach, and it doesn't matter that the sun in Florida, I guess, is just more powerful. So like we applied sunscreen, but like we were so sunburnt, like we literally had like a fever overnight. Jeez. And so we were too like, we were too dead to like go do vacation stuff. So Crystal was like, you know what? like, why don't you just go to some retro gaming stores? So literally, like, we went to a flea market one, and I picked up Bangai-O for the Dreamcast, which is a really obscure shooter. So there's this guy, it was called Video Game Dungeon, and he literally was like a full-time flea market guy. He had like the kind of stock like Peter would have, like P Market. Like it was all, he had everything high end. So
and what'd you grab?
Bangai-O for the Dreamcast. So it was like it was like $80 American, but it was going for like 100 and something. Okay. It was actually like kind of under market. I still follow that guy. He actually gets like really good stuff. I don't know how. There were a couple other video game vendors there, and then there were actually like 4 retro gaming shops in the area, all of varying quality and pricing. But I remember thinking, like, how do these places stay in business? Because they had big retail areas, and not all of them had good inventory. But remember, I picked up DuckTales for the Game Boy complete because it was like really cheap. Like they basically had it priced like a loose copy, so it was cool to pick up a few things. Again, I have pretty much everything I want, so it is still hard to find stuff. So, like, isn't there like a thrift store like near the cottage you rent or stay at? Or
there used to be one.
Like, it used to be pretty good, right? But it's not as good anymore.
There was a cottage. Yeah, there was a thrift store I used to go to near my wife's cousin's cottage.
Okay.
And I remember one year I went there, and like it was like pricing from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was amazing.
You get lucky sometimes, because I don't thrift around here. There's no point. Like,
no,
I don't have time, and there's people that do that as a full-time job here, so you're not going to get anything anyway. No. So why bother?
But like that store in particular, I went there one year, and I got my copy of Adventure Island 3 actually for like 10 or $20. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, so the next year I was excited to go back there, and I remember I went back there and all the prices were like proper prices.
Oh, okay, yeah, they figured it out.
I only got to go there once and grab something. They had a complete unboxed copy of Ogre for the N64.
Okay, yeah,
for
Ogre
like
Battle,
$50 or something. It was crazy.
Oh, that'd be worth a pile.
Yeah,
of money now.
Yeah, I know. It was like I actually passed on it because it didn't have the manual, so I was like, man, you know me, I need my manual.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's retro.
That's retro, and then for newer stuff, I mean, we have a video game supplier that we're able to get stuff at a slight discount.
Yeah.
If we want some, but not just that, they order some of the limited run games.
Well, yeah, and they tend to have stuff in stock longer than like an Amazon or a GameStop or like a Best Buy. So if it's an obscure game, you can usually get it.
So that Mighty Goose game that I played recently, like I looked up this game for the Switch, Mighty Goose, really good game, like Metal Sluggish kind of shooter, and I looked everywhere for it and I couldn't find it. So I went to PMP, the place we buy our new stuff from, and they had a copy. They had one in stock. I was like, done.
Yeah,
I'll grab it. I got lucky. So
you got it for like $45.99 instead of $50, like, which was the retail.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's no markup on new games, so.
Well, it was a new game, but like it's going for more. It was going for more everywhere else.
Well, like on the secondary market.
It was still reasonably priced.
Upped it.
Yeah, so we do that, and then I know you have your place that you like to go.
Yeah,
online.
So there's like P&P. There's Video Games Plus, which I highly recommend, and then all the limited print companies. So I kind of track all that and then tell you if you should get a game or not.
Yeah,
but
it's hilarious. So Joe learns about the games typically, and then he's like, "All right, Dave, this game's coming out. I think you'd like it." And then I look up some gameplay, and I'm like, "Please order me one of those."
Yeah. One thing I will say, and I can't stand the business models of these companies. That's like a whole other video we could do. But they basically take your money and don't give you the game for sometimes like a year and a half. So it just takes them forever to produce things.
Yeah, they really should just take your money when it's delivered, right? Like,
or get the game in hand.
Or get it,
and or get a print run of it. The first couple of thousand, you get your game right away. If you don't get your order in quick enough, then you wait.
That's a good name for one of these companies. Instead of saying limited, just call your company Print Run.
Print Run Games.
And then you print run games. You're like, we're not just limited. We print them and give them to you. There you go.
Yes.
New business model for us.
Yeah, because I think that whole limited, like, get it now or it's gone model, like, it's kind of changed the way I collect, because I used to just wait for stuff to be cheap. But now, like, they might only make 3,000 copies of a game, and if it's really popular and sells out quick, then it's like it just doubles in price basically overnight. So you kind of gotta pick and choose what you want.
Totally.
I used to try and get all of those, and then there's just too many of them, so I kind of gave up.
Yeah, and so there's it's interesting we're talking about this, right? These limited run games, because there's a game that came out recently for the Switch called Crypt Stalker.
Okay.
And it's like an 8-bit Castlevania game. It looks amazing, but like, so right now it's just digital, right? Like,
okay, yeah.
But like, I'll keep my eye on that one for the next year and a half, 2 years, because eventually I think they're going to make a physical copy of it.
Yeah, then you can pre-order it and get it a year after.
And then I get it 3 years from now, and I'm like, the game looks really good. I'm like, I'm probably just going to buy a digital copy and play it, and then if I want to get a physical later on, I could do that.
Yeah, so that's where we get our games from.
Yeah.
So where do you guys get your games from? Is it like your local retro shop? Are you eBay, online groups, or are you buying it from other retailers like Amazon, Video Games Plus? I'm sure there's companies in the States that do like something similar. I just go with them because
and have your places changed over the years? Like,
true.
10 years ago you were primarily here, and now you're over here. So let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Nice. There's an intro for you.
You could use that to block out all the times I swear.